So now we come into like an assisted tree pose. And we're gonna continue the same thing, palm pressing. So I'm gonna palm press, rocking side to side, being aware that I don't wanna like just smash into his bones. I am almost grabbing the tissue and kind of shifting it away from the midline. And as I'm doing this, Robert, where are you feeling this?
My sacrum and low back where I have back pain.
So client has back pain. They might get confused that I'm starting with their legs, right? But we know the legs are how he gets the low back, the arms are how he gets the neck, right? They unlock it. So as I'm working this, they're like, oh, you're warming my low back up. That feels great. You're like, yeah, I know. So I'm gonna rock. And once again, we're gonna do those awesome finger points that I never do in the actual session. Do you do it in the leg? Let's see how you do it.
You're still working the inner leg line, but now the bent leg.
I was just seeing if you were doing.
The line is straight up.
Yeah. The line goes here and the line goes here.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if you would just go ahead and continue this way because this is how I would naturally do it if I was doing finger press or.
9 times out of 10, you'll notice this. I'll show it with the thumbs and go, but here's how I really do it. In other words, I show it to them. I show them what's in the workbook. And
so that way you can see.
Extrapolate.
Okay.
As much as I can to save their hands, that's all.
Yeah.
I'm very, very low key about curriculum and like changing things. There are so many options that I have debates about what we should teach and how to give the students the skills that they need.
I moved him a little fast, right?
No, it's just, no. So you didn't move too fast. It's just me. My body is just like, because I've had some low back thing going on.
So, page 21, whenever I'm doing this, I'm like locking his foot here with my knees. This will keep him in a secure place in order to get the traction I need. If your client has really big calves, might need to bump it out a little bit. I've got big calves. So, you kind of work with the body. What we're gonna do is putting our hands underneath here. Sometimes I lock, sometimes I don't. It really just depends on the body and what feels good. And we're just gonna lean back. You can explore a little bit. Client has some QL psoas stuff. Feel free to kind of check a little more. Another way we're mobilizing the low back. I had a therapist, she's been, I don't know how long, a couple years. Had her come in, she comes to see me and she's like, yeah, I don't get that move. Before I did it, and I started doing it, I'm like, really? I'm like, here girl, let me try it, Oh, wow, that is nice. It's like, yeah, it looks so basic, but this is so great. You get a dancer or like a yogi that does a lot of single legs and they'll start to get a lot of, tissue buildup kind of around the lesser trochanter, and this just feels bomb. Give a little space. Anything to add to that, Robert? You look like you're thinking about.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm out of my mind. But, therapists always think I'm working the calf.
Which you can do, right?
Because I have some low back stuff that's been going on and I can't quite figure it out. And Kristen hadn't been around to like work on me or whatever. So when she's working on me, I don't feel it much in my calf at all. I feel it more on like the front side of my hip around the socket, the back side around the socket, and then like in my sacrum. So she's pulling on my leg. That's where her hands are. But like I feel it like really deep down, like in my lumbar spine, like basically all down through here. But she's not touching anywhere near there.
But I mean, the awesome part about it is, well, my hands are here. Let me come in and give your calves a little attention, right? Everyone needs a little bit more calf work. He's like, ooh.
Compression.
Yeah. It's all kind of like a wave. We do some compressions, we do some stretches. We're like unraveling that tissue and giving length. The one common thing that clients say is, I just feel so much lighter. And I'm like, it's just like such a crazy, I mean, you do feel lighter, but it's just, I don't know, to keep hearing that, you're like, cool, you're lighter now. So after we feel like we've done a good amount of pulling here, I will sit back on my bottom. I'm going to use my outside leg to give this compression. So as you can see here, I am too far back. This is another time where like our body versus our receiver body makes a difference. So what I'm going to want to do is when I am doing this, I'm going to want to bring his leg past the 90 degrees. So at this point, I am too short. I can't do that, right? So here we are. I'm able to bring it past the 90 degrees. And one thing I always do keep in mind is where my bottom is. I don't want to create any sort of weird traction on the knee. So I want to be like lined up with his body without a toe cramp. And this leg is just hanging out. So I will pass up the 90 degree and just lay back. Nothing crazy. I'm not using my biceps. I'm using my body to just.
Traction on the knee joint.
And you can almost see sometimes once I get to the middle, like a slight bend. So say someone has osteoporosis. Am I going to be doing this to someone with fragile bones? No. My dad with his knee surgery, yeah, he can handle it. You know, I mean, I don't go in quite as fearless as when I go in with Robert. With Robert, I'm like, I know he's, a strong, healthy male. He likes it. He likes strong pressure.
Not old, sick, and infirm yet.
Not yet. We're still nice and healthy. So with my dad, I just go in slow, a little bit slower, and come out a little. Probably something to do with the fact that my heel is getting a little close to the hamstring.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to emphasize, because as I'm teaching, I'm new to teaching in person. I've been teaching online, but as I'm learning things that I need to kind of emphasize on, that maybe the students aren't picking up as the first time. So one thing I do want to really emphasize is the fact that when I come in, I'm bringing his leg past 90 degrees. My leg is straight. At that point, if you have a client that has ankle stuff, as I said, we just pull ahead above it. Also, another thing you might deal with, clients that lotion up. It's great. Happy they lotion up, not before our sessions. So I try to remind them if it is a client that comes in super slick, hey, can you try to not do that next time? Try to just wait till after session. But during session, what you do is just grab a towel or a pillowcase, wrap it around, and that gives you what you need to get that traction. Yeah.
Because I'm bigger than she is, she extends her leg completely, then she's pulling me onto her foot.
Mm-hmm.
She's not really pushing.
Against you.
No, she's just extending her leg and pulling me
Mm-hmm.
onto her foot. This is easier to do, and it's like way less leg work.
Mm-hmm.
It's way less like muscle, You don't want to muscle big guys.
They will win. He'll get beat up in the process.
And yeah, like when she's a little higher up, I feel it more up here. Now I feel it more in the hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is always a common spot where people are like, oh, that's good. Right in the belly.
Yeah.
So once we get to a certain point, the leg starts getting a little funky. This is still a good place, but if I go any more south, my heel is getting into his personal space. Now we can do, you still can come down and, give a point here and do these things. We don't teach this in the book, but I just want to let you know that this is not off limits, that this is an area that could really benefit.
And you go up the hamstring from there, or do you just kind of keep the leg extended?
Just kind of listen to him. Depending on the client, I don't really mess around. It just depends on who the client is. First time client, I'm probably not going to get all up in here because I'm going to be like, what the heck is she about to put her toe?
It's also, it's like, one, it's your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Two, like, I didn't even think about it, like, because it's close to my groin, right? But the thing is, it's so intense that there was no question about what you were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I can feel the bone here, and my toes are right above it. I can feel it right in the pad of my foot. And right now I've got I'm wrapped around the bone and pulling his leg and extending it. So I'm just showing you that as we're working, this is about as far as you go because then it starts getting a little weird. I'm not trying to, I will flip my foot.
To get the lateral hamstring? Oh, to bring it in.
Mm-hmm. To bring it down. So we've stomp, stomp, stomp.
Stomp me.
I did.
And I'm pro sound effects.
Yeah, I am all sound effects. That's also another compilation we'll have is my sound effects. Because I cannot control myself. I'm like, those are free. So we've just opened the leg. And this is the reason why You might at some point catch yourself trying to ease this leg. You're like, what is it doing? But the reason why we don't is because it's so fluid to just be like, flip the foot, pull it down. If a client wants less pressure, I may just lock them in.
If I was
Stomp,
gonna
stomp,
go
stomp.
deeper